Kiliti.
Alam mo ba na yung mga ganyang crab,
Kapag malaki na sila, iniiwan na nila yung shell nila na yan.
Talaga?
tapos siya naman, hahanap na siya ng iba pang shell.
Yung malaki na. Ano yung mahirap, te?
It's difficult.
It's not difficult. Changing shell.
So, hello, Venice, Atienza. We're here at Vision du Réel, where you are presenting your film Last Days at Sea, presented in the Grand Angle section as a Swiss premiere. You are talking to us from Manila in the Philippines.
Yes.
And hello. So, thank you for this beautiful and very aquatic film. So to give more information to the public, my first question would go to your encounter with Rayboy. In the beginning of your film, you explained that you met him on a job as a photographer in Cariatal, and that he started being your guide. And my first question was, how did this encounter build itself into the idea of a film?
Okay, so when I first met Rayboy, and I really hoped, we became close. Like, he would tell me stories about the place, and he would tell me, like, he would take us swimming in the river, as I said in the film. And I think I was really fascinated with how he was as a person.
Mhm.
And also fascinated with how I learned about the place through him. So when I left, I was hoping that I could make a film about how, the isolated village of Karihatag is able to survive storms, and also how they built a marine sanctuary in their area. So I thought about it, and after I met him, I went to my master program in Doc Nomads in Europe for 2 years. So while I was studying my master's, I was trying to write the film in many different ways. And so when I finished the program, I went back to see Rayboy again. But when I came back and I found out that he was going to leave, this initial idea of making a film about the village and how they're able to survive storms and about the marine sanctuary, somehow I felt more urgency to spend time with Rayboy. And
Mm.
also, I don't know, I felt also a bit sad that he was going to leave home, and I wanted to know how he was going to face it. I also wanted to know how he was going to spend time. So in the beginning, I had this kind of dilemma of, I felt like there was a crossroads when I decided, okay, this is how the film is gonna be. And I think that point was when he told me that he was gonna leave. And so, yeah, when he told me he was gonna leave, I kind of let go of the first plan and
Mhm.
just decided to spend time with him. And at that time I didn't know if it was gonna become a film or not. But
Okay.
yeah.
And regarding the filming process, so when you were spending time with him, how did you choose the sequences that you shot? Did you agree on some sequences you wanted to shoot, or did you just follow him? How did you collaborate with Rayboy on during the filming process?
Yeah, so what would happen normally was we would ask them what happens every day. So, for example, the first day we arrived, I'd ask him, okay, so what do you do now? And we would just follow mostly. And then that was the first days, like the first 3 days. But then more and more, I understood the rhythm of Rayboy's life. Like he would hang out, or in the morning, the fishers would come, and so we kind of established a schedule, sort of, not really a schedule, but like
Mhm.
we know that afternoons is spent more on like staying at home or playing in the sea.
So
And so,
patterns, you were
yeah,
establishing patterns.
yeah, like there were patterns, but also there were certain moments that I felt that really it was Rayboy who wanted to show us. For example, these scenes of spending time near the shore at night was completely Rayboy's idea,
Mm.
because I kind of felt that he didn't. In the night, all the adults will be in the house with us, and I felt that when we are spending time at the shore, it's just us kids. I mean, yeah, like he treated us also as kids, so it was his turn to be just with us. It's like a little group, and so these conversations, I feel all the conversations were really his how can I say, his initiative. And also these moments where we would go swimming was also his idea, that like, hey, today let's go to the river, or today let's go to the sea.
Mm.
And I felt, and from that I kind of felt what Rayboy liked to do. And so there, for example, after the first 3 or 4 days of us going to the sea or going near the shore, the next days I would start to ask, okay, maybe now it's time we go back to the shore, and in the night. That's how I thought, okay, this is the time, this is a moment that we can film. So it was mostly from him, I would say. Like, not mostly, but a lot,
Yeah.
especially with in terms of the conversations. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the film relates a lot to a universal picture of the innocence of childhood. And did you stick to Rayboy's story for the film, or did you have any other inspirations based on what you saw elsewhere, whether in the Philippines or whether your childhood or any other films or references to establish this very innocent picture of what a childhood can be like in a rural area?
Hmm. Well, honestly, at the beginning, I really just wanted to focus on Rayboy,
Mhm.
and to just kind of build this picture just by solely looking at him, or like
Mhm.
solely focusing on him. But as we were editing and making the film, I realized that it was kind of um, that there was this necessity
Necessity,
to kind of also be more clear about my position as
of
a
course.
person. And so I feel, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't so aware of this. It was something that I became more and more aware as we were making the film, that the reason why I relate so much to Rayboy was because I also felt those things before when I was a kid. I had a lot of very difficult not difficult, but you know, conversations with the editors that made me kind of also reflect uh, on my
Yeah,
own life,
of
or I
course.
mean on my own childhood, which was not so easy because for me it felt so long ago, and
Mhm.
also some memories were a bit sad. So somehow I felt like because of knowing Rayboy, I had a chance to access certain, I don't know, not really memories, but kind of memories of emotions that I used to have when I was a kid, that at that time I did not have the language for because I was too young. But also now that I'm old, I don't have the language anymore because I'm old. So like I felt that with knowing Rayboy and with making the film, personally I found a way to, how can I say, to say things that I was not able to say when I was young, and
Of course.
things that I would not have been able to say now because I don't, I felt like I don't have it anymore. I don't know if that makes
Yes,
sense.
yes, yes. It was doing a work of introspection and at the same time going back to your own childhood. So in a way, coming to terms with what you have had experienced maybe during your childhood,
Yeah, and I
and
think
putting
like,
images on these feelings.
yeah, and I and like in terms of references, when I was when we were editing, like in the last 10 months of editing, I was watching this work, the work of Hayao Miyazaki.
Mhm.
He makes animated
Of
films,
course, Miyazaki.
and he made this film called My Neighbor Totoro. And
Yes.
I was reading kind of an essay about him presenting the film, and he said something in the writings. I mean, it's not the exact words, but he says, um, like, for all the things that we believed we have lost and the things that we believed we had forgotten, knowing that, understanding that these things still exist, that was the reason for him to make My Neighbor Totoro. Like these things that we are convinced that we had already lost. And somehow I resonated with this a lot because I felt like, how can I say, when I was making Last Days at Sea, I wasn't aware that I felt I had lost something. And in the process of making it, that was when I realized that, oh, I lost something and I didn't even know it. And I didn't know that it was possible somehow to not fully retrieve it, but to at least recognize it
Of
somehow.
course.
Yeah.
Recollect. Great.
Yeah.
And maybe finally, maybe you can tell us about Rayboy. Did he finally come back to the village after his studies? Where is he now? Is he planning to stay in the city or going back to Kariatag?
Actually, now Rayboy is moving between the city and Karihatag, but he really lives in the city now because of school. But because of the lockdown, they have this mixed learning system, so he can take home his modules, and he, how can I say, he can bring it back to Karihatag because he wants to stay there with his family since they're all in lockdown.
Of course.
But like with how Rayboy is now, actually Rayboy was one of the first, I think the first person to watch the film outside of the team,
Okay.
the filming team.
The crew.
And there was something that he told me that I really felt something was that after he watched it, he said that he misses everything that it was in the film,
Okay.
and he said that that he misses the person that he was
Okay.
because
That's strong.
um, yeah, because, and then I asked him, why? What do you mean? Do you not like science anymore? Are you not interested in planets or the sea? And he said, no, no, it's not that. He said that he felt like he matured. In the Philippines, we say this like, oh, you've matured. Like
Okay.
it's a term that we use to say that you've grown old.
Okay.
And like, and when he said that, like, he felt like he misses it, and because he sees a different version of him in the film, I kind of felt something there. Yeah, but that's where he is at now. I mean, he's kind of still the same person, but he has changed a bit somehow. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah, but he's still gonna I mean, he's still gonna, with going back to your question, he will stay more in the city now. I mean, I think if things ease up and the lockdown is lifted, he will go back to the city to study.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Venice. And yes, well, we wish the people who did not see the film, well, if you're watching this, you might have seen the film, good viewing. And thank you very much, Felice, for having your film with us at Vision du Réel. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.